So as Trump unleashed tweets that triggered the media into meltdown, an Antifa disciple armed with a rifle and homemade bombs attacked an immigration center. He died. The press was busy obsessing over the squadettes, so it garnered minimal coverage. It's easy to see why. The man used the same concentration camp rhetoric we heard from the squad leader. He identified as part of Antifa, the group praised by CNN. So it's hard for them to condemn something when the terrorist is merely parroting stuff you say. When you spend your time comparing immigration agents, many of whom are minorities, to Nazis and so on, how can you trash a fan of your work? It's why they embrace Smollett. How can you expose a hoax when you've been selling that same hoax for years? But we shouldn't do what the media likes to do to you. When a racist commits an act of violence, they will expand their invective to include anyone tangentially related, meaning if a violent racist likes fries and you like fries, you're a racist and probably an overweight one. So we should point out that this dead guy doesn't reflect all Democrats. He was just another nut who wanted to become what the media glorifies, an avenging angel wielding righteous violence that comes when your enemy is not just deemed wrong, but evil. The result? Milkshakes, mobs, masks, and mayhem. Punch a Nazi is now punch anyone. So this guy really didn't die for a cause. He died to impress a bunch of losers. He died hoping that CNN would say, well, his heart was in the right place. Who knows? Maybe they will. So, Capri, I will say, I always say that both sides have crazies. And crazies should not define your side, which is why it's the responsibility of that side to police their own crazies. I police my crazies like Jesse.
Well, there's plenty of crazies to go. There's plenty of crazies to go around on both sides.
Yes.
And I mean, and this is exactly right. For me, it's all about consistency, okay? Right? So you bring up the fact that the media did not cover this in a way saying, well, you know, this person echoed AOC's remarks, so therefore somehow they've been, you know, these sentiments have been manifested in this kind of violence, right? Which we see all the time on the other side of, you know, if someone appropriates MAGA or is wearing a MAGA hat.
The guy in the van.
Right, that all of a sudden, well, let's talk about the guy in the van as well. The guy who was living in a van down by the side of the river, who was a Bernie supporter, who shot up the congressional baseball game practice. Right. So there's enough to go around, but here's the deal. They're all crazies, and if we're going to cover it, we need to do it consistently. Maybe this person was influenced by AOC, and it needs to be told in the same manner as someone who may have somehow been motivated to, you know, send bombs to CNN, like the crazy with the
crazy guy in the van in Miami.
The other crazy guy with the van.
That was the one I was talking about. The guy in Miami with all the stickers.
Stickers, exactly.
Yes.
Be consistent. That's all I ask.
Yes. Thankfully, Dana, none of the things that you write influence crazy people. There's no Jasper fanatics.
Not yet.
No.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Yes.
We've got to radicalize those people.
If you think about, remember the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting, which is so horrible, and immediately that was blamed on Trump.
Right.
But then it turned out that he was against Trump.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, you know, and it is a frustrating type of thing. But I don't like that whole eye for an eye thing. Remember the Sarah Palin crosshairs thing, and then they blamed that on her too. And this really did not get much attention. You had somebody trying to attack a government building.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
And he died in a confrontation with the cops, Jesse.
Yeah. The media does not report the news. They report the narrative, Greg. And one of the big narratives
out there...
That's a
quote on a coffee mug, Jesse Waters.
Wait a minute.
Go to Cafe Press.
And then I think the biggest narrative out there is that the right is violent and the left is not. So even when some guy, let's say, smirks at somebody, that's considered a violent act.
Yes.
But when there's an actual violent act, it's not covered. 2 of the 3 networks didn't even cover the story. And then all of the mainstream media never reported the connection between Antifa and the attack. Not only that, they will frame, as Dana said, conservatives like they did Palin. Remember the Aurora, Colorado shooting? Yeah. ABC's Brian Ross went right to it and said it was a Tea Party supporter. They actually got his name wrong, and it wasn't that guy. But on the other hand, you have eco-terrorists. You have Black Lives Matter rioters. You have Bernie Bro shooters. You have Antifa. You have WTO anarchists. You have all these people running around committing violent acts, and they are never treated in the same way. They're always excused as social justice crusaders or victims of capitalism. They're never treated the way the right-wing violent people are. And I would just... Permission to make a social experiment suggestion?
Oh, my God, I'm scared.
Put a MAGA hat on and walk down to Greenwich Village, do a few laps around the block. put a Obama Hope and Change T-shirt on, go down to the Florida Panhandle, go to the Florida Panhandle, see who is verbally and physically assaulted and see who's not. I think we know what the answer is.
I'm going to put it on my Marianne Williamson shirt and just go to Palm Beach. You know, Dagan, to Jesse's point, there's something weird about how righteous violence is romanticized in I would say in the entertainment industry, in the academia, because the Weather Underground became Bill Ayers became a professor. Yeah. The SLA was Charles Manson was romanticized, but they put the Boston bomber on the front cover of Rolling Stone. So it's kind of like we don't romanticize our crazies.
No,
they do.
And there is the justification of violence over and over again in this crazy political day and age by the left-wing nuts. In the sense, and what bothers me is it's the same thing that rape victims have heard for decades and decades, that you brought this on yourself.
Yeah, they did that with
you asked for it.
Yeah.
And we need to fight back, and so we will attack you. I just want to know what is acceptable to the left. Is it tire irons? Is it punching somebody in the face? Is it concussions? Is it rape? Is it murder? Because I'll tell you, with this Antifa guy, it would be a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week news cycle of sneering, snorting, and just screaming to the high heavens about how conservatives calls this, about how this is the fault of the Fox News channel. Mm-hmm. We all know that's exactly where it would go.
Violence is unacceptable no matter who does it. End of story.
Unless it's a cage match.
Then you get paid.
Then you get paid.